Hey, middle school volunteers. Man, it's happening. This Sunday we start our new sex series. And call it a sex series is kind of even misleading because yes, it's about sex, but it's more about gender identity. Over the next 2 weeks we're going to be really drilling down on gender identity, and there's a couple of things that I want you to know. First off is that this is going to be a message that we will separate our high schoolers and middle schoolers for, and I'm going to be preaching in both and in person. And so what that's going to require is we're going to do the regular flow of things with our high schoolers. We'll do the worship game, message, small groups. Whereas with middle school, because I'll be teaching in the high school room, middle school, we're actually going to reverse those last two bits. We're going to do worship game, separate, and then we'll do small groups, and then the message. And the reason for that is that this is a really delicate topic, and for so many of our topics, I feel comfortable, it's not ideal, but whatever, I can get in front of a camera and give the message for our students. But with this one, it just doesn't feel right. It feels like one of those moments to where connecting with the students in the room as I'm giving the message, like this is the right thing to do. And I want to do that for both our high schoolers and our middle schoolers. So what you're going to be doing then is you're going to be setting kids up. You're going to be kind of pointing their hearts and their minds in the right direction. And why that's so important with this topic specifically is with high schoolers, they don't need a big on-ramp for this because this is an abstract idea that high schoolers have the cognitive development to be able to understand. But with middle schoolers, this is why it's so hard with middle schoolers, because they don't have the brain development to actually be able to think abstractly. Our middle schoolers are concrete thinkers, period. That's human growth and development. But gender identity is absolutely an abstract idea. You have an assigned concrete sex at birth because of your physical anatomy. That's concrete. And then when we start talking gender and gender stereotypes, that is an abstract idea. And so what you are going to be doing is you're going to be setting up kind of that long path to get us to where we can have a really robust conversation. And what I want to encourage you to is a couple of things. First off is that conversation will go and I'll kind of more or less pop into small group spaces and say like, hey, let's wrap it up and let's be done at 7:30, for example. 7:30 will be the ballpark time. But afterwards, as we get done with the message and we've talked about gender identity, make sure that your kids know that you're going to be around, that you can talk with them about any questions or anything that they're considering or thinking about. And as you're praying for this Sunday, as you're getting ready for it and everything like that, the few things that I want you to just be thinking of and have in the back of your mind is, first off, it's okay to not know. It's okay to tell your kids that you're still working through all this, you're trying to figure out what you believe or anything like that. It's okay to not be the expert. And the second thing along with this is we don't know what our kids are thinking, what our kids are struggling with. Because there might be a kid or multiple kids in your group who they themselves are questioning their gender identity. Or they're getting that pressure of, hey, maybe you're trans. Maybe you are actually a boy. And keeping that in the back of our mind is going to be so key, because it's going to remind us to not talk about people who are struggling with their gender identity as if they weren't in the room. We don't want to create this us and them mentality. Instead, focus on trying to create the entire conversation to where somebody who is openly trans could be sitting in the room with you and feel loved and accepted and welcomed in. Because that's what Jesus would do. Jesus sat with what everybody considered some of the worst people in his day, and they felt loved, welcomed, and accepted. And that's what we're trying to model. So the other thing that I want to make sure that you know about is later tonight, every parent is going to be getting the manuscript, the full teaching for both high school and middle school, and you're going to be getting that as well. So that way you can read everything that's going on. They'll get the high school and middle school small group leader guides, and they're getting their own kind of parent guide to guide these conversations. And that's all because this is a very hard topic, but it's an important one to have within this body of believers together. And so the last thing that I want to add is just that we're in this together. You, me, every one of our small group leaders. And thank you for those of you who have been texting me and who have given me any podcasts or blog articles or book recommendations. It's so encouraging, and I really, really appreciate it. And I just want to say that it is so great to be able to serve alongside you, and that we're all in this together as a team. And if there's anything, absolutely anything that I can do for you as we're getting ready for Sunday night, please let me know. Drop that in our chat so that we can be praying for each other. Drop that in, text me, whatever. We're rooting for you. I'm cheering for you and praying for you like crazy. And I cannot wait to serve with you this Sunday night.